What's up, everybody, and welcome to the very first introductory episode of Bourbon and Bass. It's something that I recently started. I put two things together that I absolutely love in this world, and that is bourbon and that is bass fishing. My name is Derek Hudnall, and I'm a second-year Bassmaster Elite Series professional. And this is going to kind of give you guys an idea of how my mind works and what I love. And we're going to talk about it at the same time. So I will transition this into some live videos as well. But once a week, I'm going to post something about a bourbon and something technique-wise bass fishing. But to start off with the bourbon, guys, this is something that I found. If you guys have never had this right here, this is James E. Pepper 1776. Oak Point is a local market here in the Baton Rouge area that has a pretty good selection of bourbon. And this was a store pick. It was like $35. Never seen it before. It was a super cool bottle, actually. And I said, well, I'll try it out. Super mellow, and I really like it, especially for that price point, too. James E. Pepper, they actually market themselves as the oldest bourbon distillery in Kentucky. I have not researched that. For you bourbon connoisseurs out there, if you want to research that, that's fine. Look, I'm no big connoisseur of bourbons. I know what I like, and I can talk a little bit about it, but I'm not this big expert at it. I just know what I like, and I like this stuff. You know, it's a 100 proof 1776 James E. Pepper Distillery in Lexington, Kentucky. A little bit about what I like on bourbons. I like spiciness. You know, whenever you really get that really strong smell or taste to a bourbon, that's the spiciness, and that typically indicates it's a higher proof, and that's kind of what I like. So the first reaction to this is sweetness to it. You know, I did read that it had some vanilla hints into it and some honey and stuff like that, and that's what I take out of it especially. But it's got a little bit of bite to it, a little bit of spiciness, but it's very mellow, very smooth. It goes down good. It's actually really good, man. I said for only $35, this was an absolute steal, and I actually really enjoy it. So if you see this, you might want to pick it up and grab a bottle of it. Yeah, for the price point, $35, absolutely love it. So we're going to go through every week, a bourbon or something that I like, and kind of what it does to me and how it tastes. So that's a good one. Anyway, let's move on to the bass fishing, guys. A couple of things. If you guys follow me already, I've been doing a lot of educational trips with high school anglers, not with bourbon, of course. No, that would never happen. But a lot here in South Louisiana, here in the last couple of months. Wacky worm that weightless wacky worm has really been a key for me in some of these educational guide trips. And you wouldn't figure here in South Louisiana, typically dirty water, river systems, and a lot of that, weightless wacky worm would really be the ticket, but it really is, because I think people don't realize how shallow bass live. And guys, this is any fishery anywhere around the country. There is a percentage of bass that live shallow everywhere all year, and especially here in South Louisiana. And the reason why a lot of guys don't catch them that shallow all year, they just think they're not there, is because if you start throwing a big spinner bait or a big creature bait or something up there, the amount of noise that it makes when it's hitting the water, the fish just spook real easily. And that weightless wacky worm is something that you can really present to those fish that won't spook them, that'll grab their attention, and something they'll eat. And this little weightless wacky worm, guys, this is a Missile Baits 48, and some of you guys have fished it and some of you have not. It's called a 48 because it's 4.8 inches long. It's a little bit shorter than your typical Cinco style bait, but it creates a little more finesse approach than that 5-inch Cinco that you're used to throwing. And if you notice about this bait, the either end of it tend to get fatter, and it's a little skinnier in the middle. And what this does, it still has the density, guys, that your 5-inch stick bait has. So it still has the weight to throw and skip. But when it falls, it has an enhanced wobble action because of the extended either end of it being fatter and heavier like this. It has has kind of a insinuated wobble to it as it falls. And this thing has really been catching a lot of fish for me, and it has been for several years now. But that missile bait's 48, guys. If you're a big wacky worm guy or a big stick bait or Senko style guys, yes, this 48 is really, really effective, and it's something I've been throwing it a lot. And I'll typically throw this on like a 1/0 Gamakatsu G Finesse drop shot hook. Incredibly good hookup ratio. I actually throw one with a little weed guard on it sometime if I'm around a lot of cover, a lot of cypress trees and stuff like that, to keep me from getting hung up a lot. And a lot of what I throw this on too, guys, especially here where you're not in the clearest of water, and even in South Louisiana and a lot of parts of the South, even clear water has that dark tint to it. You know, South Florida, South Louisiana, a lot of where it's in the South. And I will throw this thing actually on 15-pound braid, straight braid. And I actually take a marks a lot and I mark out, 12, 18 inches of the line. And the fish just simply can't see that. And the advantage is, especially if you're throwing a weed guard on a wacky worm, you're able to get that extra strength and penetration to get that hook into the fish's mouth. So it has a lot of advantage. And of course, if you're in some super clear water, guys, up north in the middle of the U.S., then just pair it with an 8-pound or so fluorocarbon leader, and you'll have the success with that. But that missile bait's 48, guys, has really been the ticket for us down here, and a lot of guys just don't throw it down here, especially this time of the year. But I like to get ultra shallow, even in the summer times, because a lot of times those big nomads, that's where they roam. But this has been absolute key. But what I have this paired on right here, again, 15-pound Seaguar Smackdown high vis fluorocarbon. I just darken it out with 12, 18 inches with a marks a lot. And this is on a 7-foot Legend Extreme, the brand new Legend Extreme by St. Croix rods that we released at the Bassmaster Classic this year. But guys, if you have not put this rod in your hand, you absolutely have to. This is the lightest, most well-balanced and sensitive rod I've ever put in my hand, and especially for a wacky worm. This is a medium light action with a fast tip. You want that fast tip on a wacky worm because you need that really stiffness to be able to skip that thing up underneath, underneath limbs, and to get way back into cover where most people can't put a bait. But guys, this is incredible setup right here. And the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is, you guys have probably seen it, that Missile Baits released their new Quiver this year. John Cruz actually had a second place finish in the Bassmaster Elite Series in the St. Johns River this year on a couple of different sizes of this thing. And a couple of things of why this bait is so darn effective. Number one is its versatility. But if you basically have a stick bait or a Senko style bait, but it has the softness and it's so much more limber. It doesn't have the stiffness of your typical Senko style bait, and it has that paddle tail to it. And if you could imagine this thing coming through water and you're hopping it along, and you can imagine the bend in this bait and the action that it creates is just it's really incredible. I love fishing this thing in offshore hydrilla and grass. I've had a lot of success on that. And not just that, guys, you can Neko rig this thing. If you haven't Neko rigged before, this is a great bait to start doing that with. This Quiver comes in a 6.5 and also a 4.5 inch. And depending on what you're trying to do, a Neko rig isn't just for on the bottom, it's for, suspending fish as well. If I'm trying to fish it on the bottom, then I'll use the 6.5 and put a little 2/32 ounce nail weight in the head of it. And then if I'm trying to suspend it over some grass or something, I may go down to the 4.5 inch and just put like a 1/16 or something in the head of it, or 1/32, just to give it that little subtle action. And you can fish this thing on the same setup on the Neko rig that I just showed you for the wacky worm. But my favorite way, Texas rig, 6.5, 5/16 sinker. And I peg it, especially because I like fishing this thing in offshore vegetation. This thing, especially in grass. We had a great day on the water last week with this thing in some submerged hydrilla. It's incredible. 7-foot 1 inch Legend Extreme St. Croix rods, medium heavy action, extra fast tip. You just absolutely can't go wrong with this setup. But some cool things coming up, guys. There's a lot of things released at this year's Classic, a lot going on right now. We're looking forward to getting back into the Elite Series. These are some videos that I'm gonna spill out to you guys once a week. We're gonna do some lives with this. I hope you guys like this. Comment if you're watching YouTube, guys. Subscribe to my channel, or if you're watching on IGTV, comment on anything you guys would like to see. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And We have a lot to come. Next week, we're going to go through some bookers like you see up there. And also, we're going to go through one of the most controversial and, let's say, opinionated things in this industry, and that's knot tying. I'm going to show you the knot that I tie on 98% of my lures, and it does not fail, and I've yet to have anybody prove me wrong. So tune in next week, guys. I hope you guys like this. Comment if there's anything you guys would like to see, and tight lines, and stay thirsty, my friends. Later.